Eliminating homework for middle and high schoolers, Tabarek Aldabbagh. When I was in high school, I had a chemistry teacher who would assign all of the questions at the end of each chapter in our textbook as homework. Now, I was not a bad student. In fact, I loved STEM major classes. I just didn't love homework. And those assignments would take me 3 hours to finish every time, as they were 50 questions with many of them branching out. I had a responsibility at home to take care of my siblings, as my parents had to work all day, and with homework from other classes, I had no time left to myself at all. I would say this is an isolated incident, but unfortunately, it was just the most memorable. The United States Department of Education should eliminate homework through middle and high school. Some definitions, the United States Department of Education. It's an agency for the federal government that establishes policy for, administers, and coordinates most federal assistance to education. It assists the president in executing his educational policies for the nation and implementing laws enacted by Congress. Homework is assigned classwork that is to be completed outside of the hours spent at school. Eliminating homeworks is making sure that all classwork is done during the school hours and using class time to complete classwork. Middle school is grades 6 through 8 and high school is grades 9 through 12. I will first be highlighting the issues with requiring homework and then move on to alternatives and a plan for how to eliminate it. Lastly, I will point out the benefits to the plan and the quality of life for the students. The main problem with homework as it is now is the time that it consumes. Students spend about 40 required hours at school every week, not counting the extracurricular activities that are needed to get into good colleges. A research was done on adolescent students to determine the time spent on activities outside of school, and they found that, on average, the adolescents spend about 7.9 hours in extracurricular activities, 9.1 hours doing homework, and 2 evenings per week with peers. Does anyone notice the percentage difference? Students must always prioritize school activities over the social and creative choices that they would rather make. In total, this is about 8 hours of school and 2.5 hours of extra requirements a day, with the students needing to sleep about 8 hours a day. That leaves only 5 hours a day to live their life. Now, instead of them getting these hours to themselves, most have home and family obligations, and those are the ones who are lucky enough not to have to work. According to a recent article published by the Pew Research Center, approximately 5.5 million American teenagers between the ages of 16 and 19 were part of the U.S. workforce as of May 2022. And according to the online requirement of Zippia, teens between the ages of 16 and 19 work an average of 25 hours a week. Spending so much time on school-related activities, especially homework, affects their mental health and overall quality of life. One study published in the Journal of Experimental Education found that students who reported spending more than 2 hours per night on homework experienced higher stress levels and physical health issues. Now we'll look at the plan for what eliminating homework will look like. The plan is to make sure that all class-related work is done within the class hours during the span of the school day. Instead of assigning multiple pages to work the students have to finish on their own, worksheets would be handed out in class for the students to finish and work on together and with the presence of a teacher in case they need help. This may cause some students to ask about how much time will be left for lecturing, and to that, the solution will be depending on how each student sees fit for the subject. However, the worksheet is to be worked on in increments as the teacher lectures, or assigning separate days, or putting a time aside from the lecture specifically for the classwork. Both ways bring about a solution to the timing issue. The Indian Certificate of Secondary Education suggests the use of digital coursework, saying that it helps the students retain what they have studied for a more extended period of time. and also retain information by watching visuals in an animated form. Now moving on to the benefits of eliminating homework. There are many benefits to eliminating homework, but I will be listing three of them: performance, time, and then quality of life. When the students are working on the coursework alongside their peers with the presence of the teacher, they can have a higher chance at actually getting the answers correctly and overcoming any confusion that they have with the topic. This is better than them prioritizing just finishing the assignment, even without full comprehension, and receiving a lower grade on it, or otherwise missing the assignment completely. By ensuring that classwork can actually result in better grades. And with all class-related work being done at school, it gives the student more time to actually establish their life and their priorities outside of school. Students are young human beings who need to socialize and to find ways to entertain themselves, and even to learn things outside of academics. They can learn a hobby, or working students can actually spend the time they're not working to relax or rest. More time ensures a better quality of life. Lastly, when the students have the luxury of better grades and more time to themselves, they will actually have the luxury of better mental health. As discussed before, the homework and hours spent on school-related activities has a negative impact on the students' mental health, and by eliminating, we can help ease their lives. The state of Utah has seen this firsthand as they implemented a policy of no homework at select schools. A psychologist at one of the schools says our referrals for anxiety have actually reduced by more than 50% in the last year since we started no homework. This is one example of how eliminating homework has positively affected the students, and by implementing it, we should see many more. It may sound far-fetched to eliminate homework because of the way we've been taught that hard work and achievement is more important than growing holistically as human beings, but I believe it's doable. Limiting classwork to school hours ensures adolescents have the time to grow as human beings and learn life skills that are separate from academic achievement, which in turn brings up the youth of the future as well-rounded adults with experience and understanding of the world. Thank you, everyone.